we're just creating all the branding, right? Because like I told you, we want to create similar to what you're doing on the RE side with wanting to create the call center dynamic,
Right.
right? We were doing the same thing on the lending side, but in order for us to create that platform, we got to have all the branding in place. We got to have the content out, and we got to have the know, like, and trust factor already preset. So once we have the know, like, and trust, and we have enough viewers, we have enough of a captive audience, we have enough engagement in everything that we're doing. Our engagement is slowly ticking up, but you can see the growth in our followers. You can see the growth in how many people are looking at our reels. And then after that, we can then start to push advertisements. We can start to capture data, capture email lists. Right? I've been actively interviewing people, independent contractors on Upwork to set up Google ad campaigns, click to call campaigns.
Sure.
Right. And so getting all that set up on the front end of the funnel, but before all that, we had to create the brand strategy.
Right.
That's all that James is doing an amazing job with his team of setting up all the branding. Now we start bringing in the front end, right? Because what the concept is, you bring in a borrower or a buyer from Zillow right now. Okay, so what do you do? What's your process when the lead comes in from Zillow?
So Zillow's a really interesting dynamic because we're not allowed to pre-qualify them before we take them out. Think about that, man. All the years I've done this is get them pre-qualified, and you'll hear agents saying, "I won't show somebody unless they're pre-qualified." Zillow's mentality is a little different. They tell us you're our frontline customer service.
Get them in the car. That's the logic.
Yeah. Go out, meet them. That's what they say. You are our frontline customer service. So it's a whole idea. Zillow cares. Zillow cares about your dreams, wishes, ambitions. Let's meet you. We're going to serve you. We're not going to say, well, are you qualified? Okay, let me drill down on your money. And maybe if we approve you, we'll go show you. So after that, obviously, we show. And we have metrics that we have to perform at, right? And that metric includes writing the offer. So to write the offer, you have to have the pre-qual. So there was
the touch point, right? Where you got them on the phone. That's one touch point. The touch point of seeing them in person.
Yep.
And real quick, before I forget, you briefly talked outside about my buddy Berto, right? Berto and I have a symbiotic relationship when it comes to RE and lending. We know each other like the back of our hands when it comes to a transaction. But we've known each other since we were 18, so going on 14 years. When he got on the phone with me to say, hey, I'm going out showing, there's no question in what the process looks like. So the process for him is he has my mobile app. So while he's with the customer,
that's right,
he fills out the application with them. Now that takes not only your customer service to another level, but now we've captured the data and instantly gotten everything over. I already know he's out shopping, so I'm waiting for that application to come in to start gathering data, pre-approving. The reason you were going to put an offer out had the property qualified was because we did everything while he was there. Hey, make sure you go on to his U.S. bank account, download his bank statements, and send those over.
So while he's in the car.
Funds. While he's in the house.
That's the way to do it.
While he's in the house with them. And he takes his wife so that his wife is talking to his wife, gathering data, doing whatever, showing the property while the other one is taking care of getting the application done.
Love it.
Right? That's an injection into where now you're able to resolve some of that lapse in the handoff between your side and my side.
So my vision has always been to create that immediate customer service, just like Amazon. If my wife goes online to order something from Amazon and they say, hey, we'll get back to you after our weekend, we've got family time.
No, it doesn't work.
It's not going to happen, right? But that's the way our industry has been trained. Because remember, we talked about this last time. We used to have all the inventory. We used to have all the knowledge. We used to have all the data. Therefore, we were in control. We actually weren't in control. We thought we were in control. Our ego said we were in control. Now we don't have all the inventory. Zillow has all the inventory. Realtor.com. Anybody who has an IDX connection has all the inventory. So you lose that piece of control, if you like. Secondly, most buyers and sellers are more informed than the realtor that's going to see them. They're more informed about the neighbor. They're more informed about the home. They're more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It's
right?
very easy now.
Right. So the public says, okay, well, we know about the properties for sale. We know what our neighbors sold for. We know what the comps, we used to call them. We know what those are. What are you going to do for us? And we're seeing more and more that need for immediate response. Right? Young people from the minute they're born. I mean, I used to have a digital pager, for goodness sake. They got stuff and I love it too, the technology. I'm on tech all the time. It's immediate. I want it right now. Yep. If it takes more than 4 seconds to log into a site, I'm off. I'm gone. Yep. I'm on to the next, right? So in the real estate industry, what you just described is is an empathetic response to that consumer environment, which is, I want, give me, now, make it easy.
Yep.
And that's exactly what you just described.
And we're facilitating that transaction. I want to go back to the digital branding and the strategy, right? And we went on the tangent of Zillow and your client. After the touch point of in-person, what's next? How are you following that client?
Following them in terms of real estate or in terms of lending?
Either or, right? On the lend side, right? I know what we're doing. It's either a text or call campaign or auto drip on email.
So with us, there's two representations of intuitive technology that we use. So in the past, 30 years ago, I would set somebody up on an MLS search. That's what we called it, an auto email, right? That's a linear approach to technology. It was great technology at the time. You tell me I want a 4-bedroom, 3-bath in Murrieta under 500,000. I would program in linear criteria, 4-bedroom, 3-bath Murrieta under 500,000, and it would just continuously feed you either daily or instantly or weekly or whatever, feed you that data. You would, in the meanwhile, come online and just get a whim that you wanted a 2-bedroom condo in Carlsbad. So you'd be searching 2-bedroom condos, but I'm still sending you 4-bedroom, 3-bath homes in Murrieta, right? I haven't talked to you for 4 or 5 days. You now look online for a condo in Carlsbad, and you can't get a hold of me because I'm in my family time, right? Old thinking.
Yep.
So they call somebody else. That person sets them up on a linear search. Boom, they're gone. I can't tell you the number of times in the past where a client would tell me, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I want it in Oceanside. I worked in Oceanside for years, right? I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Oceanside. I wanted a penny under over 400,000. This was going back a few years, right? And I would show and show and show and show, and I didn't ask the right questions. And then I would lose them. And 6 months later, I'd meet them and they were kind of embarrassed. They're in the food store. I go, hey, remember me? I'm Andrew. They would go, Andrew, we feel really bad. We didn't use, we bought a house. We bought a 4-bedroom, 1-bath house in Escondido. I was showing you 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses in Oceanside. Yeah, but we were out there one day and we really wanted it. So now let's full circle. That's the way the public behaves, right? You buy what you want, where you want, when you want it, if you can afford it. So intuitive technology is manifest either in AI technology, and AI has to be intuitive. It also can't be linear, and it has to be educated, or it's in intuitive search. So now the searches, you ask the question, what do? We immediately set the client up on intuitive searches, which actually reads what they're looking at, when they're looking at, and then constantly feeds them back property, adjusting the criteria on the back end. Right? So that's intuitive technology. So we set them up on an intuitive search. So our site, GoWP Now, has that intuitive technology built in. Second, of course, there's drip campaigns and smart campaigns. Every realtor who looks at this knows those. But any realtor who's not using intuitive AI is missing the boat. Example, I was shaving this morning, and I got a text from one of the agents on the team at Warburton Properties. One of the agents texted me and said, hey, it was actually on our Slack feed, which is another thing that's right. Yep. So we're on the Slack feed and he says, look at what the AI just did. The AI sent a message to one of his clients because we set them up on that AI intuitive conversation. The AI said, are you working with an agent? And the client turned around and said, I'm working with some agents, but none of them formally right now. He's showing them property on Saturday.
Let's go.
No, watch. He's showing them property on Saturday, but they responded to the AI and said, we're not working with anybody formally. So in other words, they had not recognized they were formally working with him, even though they had an appointment with them. And this is very common in our industry because our egos think, oh my gosh, I've got an appointment with them. I'm wonderful. Look at my social media.
I thought the AI got him the appointment.
Dude,
he had the appointment and the AI hadn't.
So he stopped what he was doing, right around, called the client, said, I'm so sorry that I missed. Are there any of your needs that I need? Blah, 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 blah. They sealed that relationship and away they went. Without that intuitive AI, he would have lost that client.
Yep.
So there's 2 levels of intuitive technology that we employ for every new customer that comes on board. You hear this beeping here. I should have turned it off. I apologize. That's the bot talking to people right now.
I love that. The bot is through your CRM or through GoWP that you customize?
So the CRM, remember, that just processes the data, right? So the CRM is to collect data, process it, and manage it for outreach strategies. The AI is attached to GoWP Now. So anybody who comes to the site and searches, they're going to get that AI interface.
Yeah.
So our AI is called Anna. Most people think it's a real person.
Yep. It's what Ylopo does with Raya.
Yeah, so it's similar. It's just much more advanced.
Got it.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to talk about other companies, but yeah. So it's extremely intuitive. And as you go with the bot, as the agent watching what the bot says, you can actually teach the bot as you go. So you see the response and you can type in the server side in the back end, I prefer that you say this, and the next time the bot will say that. You can teach it as you go. Awesome. It's state-of-the-art stuff.
It's constantly learning.
Constantly learning.
Wow, AI is insane.
So the stuff you see, man, on the movies, with these bots, I love those futuristic movies. We're extremely close. We don't have robots yet who can walk around with the fluidity, but in terms of the technology, we're probably 10 years away.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and their kid is working at Google for a linguistics pattern recognition, and they're trying to do all the language recognition that we're doing on Google, that we just, hey Google, hey Siri, hey Alexa. But now they're trying to develop it in other languages, whether it's in Mandarin, whether it's in name the language. And it's wild, but what they're trying to do is so that the dialects now can interact.
Yeah.
And that's going to be insane.
Fiercely exciting. Have you noticed with Siri that Siri is starting to seem really old-fashioned? I talk to Siri, and they need to step up the technology on Siri. Siri is old-fashioned. She does not recognize enough. She is not responsive enough. She is not intuitive enough. There is a huge marketplace there for somebody to step in and just pillage Siri. The tech, of course, it's sophisticated technology, but you can see there are bots that we're interfacing with that are much more intuitive. So mark my words, Siri technology, they will improve it or somebody will come in and supersede it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where the competition and innovation
Love
comes
it. That's
in.
America, man. That's the way it should be.
Hey, in your office, that's what you're starting to see is the competition. Like when I see my lenders in there, and I'm like, oh, you guys are competing against each other. That's why the service level goes up.
So, dude, let me tell you. So it's always been my vision. Let's come back to the ground for a second. So, my primary interest is in the tech side of things. Let's build out GoWP now, build this massive top-end funnel, process it through AI, go through customer service, then bring in agents who can process it through, bring in loan officers. So that tech part is what just totally intrigues me, is what we're investing a lot of money and time into. Now, at the bottom of that funnel, of course, you need agents, which is what Zillow's done. They've developed top of funnel. Now they have all these contracts with agents. Realtor.com has top of funnel. Now they have all these agents. Amazon has top of funnel, but they've covered the agent thing with affiliate marketing. That's what's so brilliant with them. Yep. You don't have to touch anything, drop shipping, all that kind of stuff. So what my vision for the bottom end of the funnel has been that you don't separate out lenders and realtors, but they're all in one place at one time. And this idea, I'm working from my home, I'm independent, I'm not answerable to anybody, it's just not working anymore, right? Put everybody in one room, and you can see the dynamic in our offices.
It's the
every single day, brother, every day, because your folks are sitting right, Wendy's sitting right there, Victor's sitting right there, Eddie's sitting right there, Manuel's sitting right there. They look good, they sound good. And the agent's just walking up going, hey, I've got this one on the phone, go. Customer service walks in, hey, I've got this one on the phone, go. The customer gets the benefit of immediate answers. The realtor gets the benefit of immediate work. The loan officer gets the benefit. Yep. Everybody benefits from it. And we make money because we are giving the public what they need.
Yeah, and there's no lag in the handoff.
No lag. Handoff, waiting for callback. I like something you just said a lot. This thing about using the app when you're in the car. I need to train folks more on that because they're not doing that. And I like that very much.
All the agents in your office should have access to a mobile app that'll get co-branded with their preferred loan officer, and they'll be able to have their client apply right then and there. We can run a quick
send somebody. Let's get that. You need to come to one of our training meetings. Bring Tom in or whatever, and let's just get that
I'll just
set
do
up.
a lunch and learns on one of your Wednesday meetings.
Wide open, anytime you want.
And then we'll have everybody set up. But that's
anything that enhances the technology and speed to customer. Let's go.
They calculate it right on there. What's my mortgage payment? Let me pull it up. Yeah. There's no waiting to call us or do anything of that nature. But there's the whole system, and what I've been working on, Tom, on our side is trying to set up a system so that all the lenders are servicing in the same manner, and their standards are all elevated.
I don't think that's the case right now. So we need to kind of integrate that. It's not a complaint. I'm just noticing there's different levels, even have different interest rates.
So all that's going to get resolved.
Great.
All that we're getting resolved.
Great.
It's rocky to get everything started, right?
Totally.
It's a rocket about to take off, and you need
Look,
a lot
at
of
the end
fuel
of
to blow
it's
up.
taking off. At the end of the day, there's people there who are making calls. Here's the thing: something that's bugged me for years with lending. Right? This is it. I'm just going to tell you right now. Let's never talk about this. Something that's bugged me for years is I'll take all this money, right? Run ads. It used to be magazines, that, believe it or not, people used to look at that magazines. Newspapers, I'd buy it all, right?
Yep.
Generate these leads, right? And the lender would be on his boat, with his girlfriend in whatever, or in Glams or whatever. And we will be out with the customer working all weekend. And then you call the lender, and on Monday, the lender will call back. And maybe you've lost the customer or not. So you've got all this money being invested. And then you have this handoff to a lender. And the lender hasn't invested any money in generating that traffic. They just want all your business, right? And that's a totally changing dynamic now. Now, you've got people in our office that don't just sit there going, yeah, feed me, like little birds in a nest. Jeep, jeep, jeep. And the realtor comes along and feeds them alone. That's not happening. You've got guys in there who round the clock are working through a list of 23,000 people, calling out to them going, hey, did you realize your American dream? Is there anything you need? We're here to help you, and so on and so forth. And so they are generating leads as much as we are generating leads. So you have this parity in effort. That is a formula for success.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to build a cake that's always going to fall flat.
I think with lending, that's just the old school model of,
yes,
hey, we're just going to take on lenders to the days, like our lead gen platforms. I've been 2 years hunting for the right lead gen platform for the lend side. There isn't as much selection as what you have with Zillow, with Realtor.com,
totally.
with
And I get it.
So
you're buying credit pools and all
we're
that.
battling. We're
I get
battling
it.
with, and then you have actual call centers that are lending companies that are all out right now because rates are high.
Yep.
So, but you're battling the call centers. But what lenders have is they're independent. So you have one guy who does 3 transactions a month, and he's making 120 to 150 grand a year. He doesn't have his own processor. He doesn't have a loan officer assistant, but very single-minded on, I'm going to do 36 transactions, very easy. I'm going to work 30 hours a week, and I'm going to chill. And I'm going to, and people work with who they know, like, and trust. So they develop 12 agents that feed them 3-4 deals a month, a year.
Been around as long as I can remember.
And then that's the system. And they can live a pretty easy and comfortable life behind a laptop. But what happens when they start to get inundated because they have 5 transactions that month or 6 transactions that month, their system is not developed and they themselves can't handle it. So then they break. So then it's developing the system for capacity, right? I have a processor, I have 2 loan officer assistants. I have all my LOs on a contract where if I get inundated with too many leads, then I give it to them and they close it under their name and I make the bigger override, right? So the system gets all pre-built. Now the focus becomes on how do I lead gen and then how do I service the agents? Because for me, I'm not in the loan business. My assistants are in the loan business.
Right.
I'm in the real estate agent business and I'm on the lead gen business, right? So now I'm top of the funnel. Everything else, you create a system for it. It becomes very easy. As far as investing, right? Realtors now the fairies will preach it. Make your lenders pay for half your leads, right? Zillow, I was on a Zillow contract for $30,000 a month, 15 and 15.
Do you know the leads are maybe 30% of the equation. 70% of the equation is, what do you do with those leads? So now you got this, right?
So it goes back to the branding.
That's where your guys are helping with us.
When I asked about how you're following the customer, right? You're talking about all this technology. Mm-hmm. But I think you're failing to see how you can follow the customer digitally because you're following the customer with man hours I'm going to see them in person. I'm going to talk to them over the phone. My bot's going to text them. I'm going to eventually see the text and jump in. But what if they logged on to social media and they saw you on their Facebook and there's a banner on top because they talked to you about a VA loan and now there's a banner on top that has your branding and it says veteran home loans, or Warburton specializes in finding veterans their home with 0 out of pocket.
Right. Listen, for sure, social media, interrelational contact is big for us. But I will say to you at this point, to get the immediacy of results, the immediacy of leads, so you have a balance here. So social media is something that if you can get huge, you're going to get that interaction. Now, we don't just put things to robots. So somebody goes on the site, intuitive search. Fundamental. If you're going to look for a house, you need to know what's available, when it's available, blah, blah, blah. It's fundamental. Secondly, you need somebody who's there. Very often the bot will go off at 11:30 at night. They want that conversation. The minute that bot has that conversation, we call it a triple dip. Immediately there's a triple dip conversation. There will be a desktop notification, a push notification, which is a cell phone notification, to everybody on the team or to the client to the agent with whom that client's affiliated. Now you bring in that human interaction. Now on top of that, we have customer service people sitting there around the clock making outbound calls. I'm not talking in the Philippines. They're round the clock in America making calls. Now add on another layer. Now you bring in lenders who are actually working for our business.
100%.
You have 3 or 4 of them 100%. In there, and we're constantly putting leads in their funnel. Now you've got that follow-up level going on. In addition to that, all that conventional stuff, drips and all that is going on. So here's these multiple layers. Now, while all of that's going on, we have IG running, we have FB running, we have TikTok running. But for real estate, it is entirely different to if I was selling a program. Let's say you and I get together and we sell a program. We're going to package together some program, put it in a pretty box. James here is going to bundle it all up for us. We're going to put it all over the world. We're charging, $499.99, but if you sign up right now, $299.99. We're going to do a podcast. We're going to blast it out, do PPC, blast it out to a ton of people. And by the time we've done 1 hour, we've made ourselves $50,000, right? Can do it in my sleep, right? Well, I can't, but with somebody like James, I can do it, right? That's a choice. But now comes to something super important. When I look at programmers, when I look, people are selling me on Instagram, and there's a lot of kids out there talking about how much they've made. They have these big trophies behind them. Here's the distinction. I love education. I would say I'm a pretty educated person, but I'm continually educating myself on our business. I ask myself, what is this person educating me in? Is this person doing my business on a daily basis and revealing to me what they're doing on a daily basis? Or is this person promoting a package that says what they did at one time, and their finance model is not profit from the business? It's profit from their business, which is promoting the business I think they once had. Is a huge distinction. So if you look at Amazon stores, or I could name 100 online businesses, every time I go on IG, every time I'm on FB, every time on TikTok, somebody's promoting some package. All I gotta do is sign up $19.95, $29.95, $49. We used to call it Earl Scheib years ago, right? The scamsters. They can make tons of money selling programs. I'm not interested in the program. What I want to do is I want to talk to people who are doing my business. I'm not interested in you doing my business 5 years ago. Yeah. It's gone. 5 years ago, it's gone. You're doing my business now. You're up sweating with customers. You're out there in the field. You're writing the offers that are getting rejected. You're writing the loans. You're doing 2-1 buy downs because you've adjusted to the market. You're subbing the VA. You're telling the agent how to write up a 10K interjection in the offer for a VA buyer who served in Yemen. And now I'm getting him a deal that nobody else could. You're doing that business. I want to listen to your blog. And that's who you are. I want to listen to your blog because you're doing it. Now, this kid over here, or old or young, I don't care. There's lots of guys my age all slicked out in suits, and they're going to sell you the program. You're going to go away for $29.99 a week. I haven't sold a piece of real estate for 20 years. They have absolutely nothing to teach me. Maybe if it's a life principle, how to talk to my wife better, how to help my children better. But you can't tell me how to write an offer today when the market changed the last 45 days. My question is, excuse me, sir, have you sold a home in the last 45 days? Because everything that you're teaching is now out of date.
Yep. It's a whole different marketplace today.
Totally. It's completely changed in the last 60 days. Like the container business you and I talked about.
Who survives? Who survives in the next 45 days?
The people who adapt, of course. It's always the same thing. And here's the interesting thing. With human nature, so I'm a lot older than you. The older you get, the more you defend the position that you're in. Now, I will say, I think today, more than when I was a kid, young people are much more defensive of their ignorance. When I was a kid, there was more, it was like just after the 60s were exploratory. People even used drugs to explore. I'm not endorsing that, obviously, but the 60s thing came along, and the 70s thing came along. People wanted to find, people were going to the East. They were following Paul McCartney. They were trying new types of music, and the zither came in, and they remember, what the hell is a zither? And all these musical instruments came in. Then styles came in, and then guess what? Yahoo came along. What the hell is Yahoo, right? And then somebody comes along and invents the internet. You got this massive invention level. Now minds have shrunk to, I know it, don't tell me what to do, I know what I'm doing. Future generations are going to suffer because of that. So you said, who's going to survive? It's the people whose minds are open. It's the people who can say, look, what I'm doing is working and I'm making money, but I don't want to sit on my ego. What I want to do is sit on a world of knowledge. There's more knowledge available than ever. Show me what's out there. Right? Show me how massive is. So the people who are going to survive in the real estate and loan business the next 10 years, I personally think transaction coordinators will not exist in 10 years. I personally think you will not see escrow companies in 10 years. I personally think most of the major real estate brokerages will have shrunk down to very specialist shops like in Corona Del Mar or One Street in New York, where, yeah, if you've known somebody for 30 years, you'll do business with them. But everything is right here.
Yep.
And if you're not right here 10 years from now, you're not going to be there at all.
I agree 100%.
So it's this movement. For me, at 65 years old, to be a part of that movement and be surrounded with young people like you is extremely exhilarating.
I love that.
But some of those young people come in and they're like, nope, I know it. You can't teach them anything. I have zero time. I just say, look, I love you. You're a great person. God bless you. Please leave my office. We're not going to get along.
Wow. That was a lot to digest.